Well, ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. A moderate risk is now issued for parts of Mississippi and Louisiana. Hello, I am Pat from Pat's Path Protector, and welcome to another analysis video. So we're going to be talking about the potentially 2 to 3 day outbreak that's going to be going on starting tomorrow. We're going to be starting with the day 2 outlook just to give you some context, as there is an enhanced risk issued for parts of Texas. And then we're going to go to the moderate risk on day 3 and give you guys some context there. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so here's what we're looking at right here. This is the day 2 outlook down in Texas right here. There is an enhanced risk right here issued for parts of eastern Texas, including the cities of Houston, Austin, and Waco. Right here, you can see it's almost circular, but it's not quite there. But with all that aside, shapes aside, this is the slight risk right here. Encompasses the city of Dallas, Shreveport, Louisiana, San Antonio in Texas, and the surrounding areas around it. The marginal risk includes Corpus Christi, just outside of Lubbock, Amarillo, Oklahoma City, Norman, Fort Sill, and more of Arkansas and Louisiana. Generic thunderstorms stretch from eastern Arizona all the way to western Tennessee right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Submarine Synopsis very quickly, and then we're going to get to the main part of this video. The summary: severe thunderstorms capable of producing very large hail, damaging wind gusts, and several tornadoes expected across portions of central and eastern Texas, beginning Monday afternoon and lasting through much of the night. A couple of strong tornadoes are possible. Synopsis: a deep upper-level trough over the west will move eastward into the central southern Great Plains region on Monday. As this occurs, a surface low is forecast to move eastward from eastern New Mexico towards portions of the Oklahoma-Texas Red River vicinity by Monday evening. A warm front, initially running from central Texas into the northwest of the Gulf of Mexico, will move northward through the day in response to the surface low. Central and eastern Texas vicinity. An active severe thunderstorm event is possible across parts of central and eastern Texas, with the risk of all severe hazards, including the potential of very large hail and a couple of strong tornadoes. Initially elevated convection will likely blossom across parts of North Texas and southern Oklahoma later Monday morning into the early afternoon, within a strengthening warm advection regime north of the warm front. Uncertainties remain regarding the extent of which this convection will impede the northward movement of the front throughout the day. However, with an increasing low-level jet, 50-plus knots at 850 millibars, strong low-level moisture transport will continue, and some convection may become rooted at or near the surface within a strongly sheared environment. Any supercells or bowing structures, that can be maintained within this warm advection regime will pose at least an isolated threat of all severe hazards by early mid-afternoon. Meanwhile, further south into central Texas, widely scattered thunderstorm development is possible across the dry line by late afternoon. Moderate instability, which is capable of around 1,500 to 2,500 joules per kilogram. 2,500 joules per kilogram, that's a considerable amount of CAPE right there. So that's around 2,000, like 1,500 even. That's when you should start taking things very seriously, but still. And ample deep layer shear will support supercells with an initial threat of potentially very large hail. As these storms mature and move into an environment of increasingly low-level shear, a few tornadoes will be possible, with conditional strong tornado threat with any supercells sustained into the evening. So that's basically what's going on here. The tornado threat is now at 10% with a hatched area, which means that there's a 10% or greater probability of EF2 to EF5 tornadoes within 25 miles of a point. The wind threat has gone up. It's now at 30%. It was 15, now it's 30. And it's encompassed much of in parts of Waco, city of Houston, right here. 15% for everywhere else in East Texas, including Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. That area, the hail threat is the biggest threat so far. There's 30% risk in Austin, Waco, but it's in that hatched area, which means there is a 10% or more greater probability of 2-inch or more hail within 25 miles of a point. The other 30% encompasses the city of Houston right here. 15%, they're still in that hatched area. The 15% includes the cities of Dallas, San Antonio, and Shreveport. 5% includes the rest of the marginal risk area. So now let's go ahead and get to the main part of it right here. This is what they issued this morning. There is now a moderate risk of severe weather in Mississippi and Louisiana right now. There is including the city of Jackson, Baton Rouge, Hattiesburg, Clinton, and Pearl. There's an enhanced risk, including the cities of New Orleans, Lafayette, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Gulfport, Mississippi. The slight risk includes Mobile, Montgomery, the Florida Panhandle, the rest of Louisiana, and bleeding into Texas. That may be from the overnight stuff that's going to come through. And the marginal risk basically encompasses just the area around that. Now let's go ahead and I want to show you the probabilistic real quickly just to give you context. There is now a 45% chance with significant severe, meaning there's a 10% or greater probability of significantly severe weather within 25 miles of a point. If you watched my video on what these risks mean, I go more into that in detail, so I recommend you check that video out. But right now, what we're looking at is the only scenario this far out they will issue a moderate risk. This is it right here. There's at least a 45% chance of severe weather within 25 miles of a point in this moderate risk area. 30% with the hatched area through most of it. There's 15%, there's 5%. I wanted to show you that real quickly. Let's go ahead and get into the summary and synopsis of this video. A substantial severe weather event, including the potential for significant tornadoes, remains evident over the lower Mississippi Valley Central Gulf Coast region on Tuesday. Synopsis. An upper trough and expansive area of highly amplified cyclonic flow will shift gradually eastward across the central United States Tuesday as a closed low likely evolves over the mid-Missouri Valley area with time. At the surface, a low is forecast to move across the Missouri vicinity throughout the day, with trailing cold front forecast to reach the Mississippi Delta region during the afternoon. Late in the period, the low should reside over the Illinois vicinity, with the cold front extending southwards towards Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. Lower Mississippi, the central Gulf Coast states. A regional severe weather outbreak, including potential for several tornadoes, a few potentially significant, remains evident for Tuesday. Severe storms, including the tornado risk, will likely be ongoing at the start of the period across the Submarine River Valley area of East Texas, western Louisiana, as the surface cold front moves steadily eastward. As southerly flow ahead of the front continues to advect high theta E air northward from the Gulf, limited heating will allow destabilization to occur in the morning into the afternoon. At this time, it appears that, in addition to storms occurring ahead of the advanced front, prefrontal cellular convection will also evolve through late morning and early afternoon. With strong low-level southerly flow, 50 to 70 knots at 850 millibars in place, and 70 to 90 knots at mid-level westerlies overspreading the region, shear very favorable for strong updraft rotation, and low-level mesocyclones will exist. As such, potential for strong tornadoes will exist with the evolving supercell storms ahead of the front. Additionally, tornadoes, along with damaging winds and hail, will be likely along with storms shifting eastward in the tandem with the cold front. Into the evening and overnight, severe risk, including potential for tornadoes and damaging winds, will continue. While diminishing somewhat later into the period, the threat will likely spread across southern Alabama into the Florida Panhandle. So, in English for you guys, this is saying that a pretty bad severe weather outbreak, including the potential of some very strong tornadoes, is quite possible. I would say the severe weather outbreak is likely, but the chance for tornadoes, we're going to have to wait and see till tomorrow, because this is day 3. They don't start the tornado risks until tomorrow to do that, but as soon as it happens, I will update you guys on the situation. So I wanted to really talk more about this moderate risk, because I will say, like, this far out, it basically is the only way a moderate risk can be issued. 45% with significant severe. I talked more about it in my last video, but please go check that out. But already, this far out, this is indicating a potentially strong severe thunderstorm outbreak. And if I have to be honest, I feel kind of vindicated seeing this, because I had a feeling this might happen, but I felt like in my last videos I was kind of jumping the gun saying a moderate risk is possibly going to be issued. I feel kind of vindicated now, because this moderate risk is going on, and all the ingredients are going to be right in place for this thing to happen. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that real quickly. But with that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out and helps me make more videos like these, and informs more of the public of what's going on with this potentially bad severe weather outbreak. And with that being said, guys, have a wonderful day. I would start getting prepared if I were you in Texas. I would start preparing tomorrow in Mississippi, Louisiana, that area. But until that time, stay safe.